I'm in it.
I'm in it.
To win it.
To win it.
I'm in it.
I'm in it.
To win it.
To win it.
Unfortunately, In It to Win It is coming to a conclusion. We are moving on to a new sermon series that is like that, so we have to get to it. So we will be concluding In It to Win It and starting a new series in the first week of June. But as you guys know, I like to review the sermon series to give you a couple little nuggets of what went on behind the scenes, but also to reiterate some points and give you some new points. So this will be a review of the In It to Win It sermon series. So if you have missed the entire sermon series, today is the day to join VCC because we will give you some of the juice behind the sermon series. So, In It to Win It, week 1, the very first week of In It to Win It started by showing you this video.
So much emotion in the building because of Kobe Bryant announcing his retirement after 20 years.
Ray seems to have a favorite Kobe Bryant moment. Do you have a favorite Kobe Bryant moment in your career?
Nothing beats getting drafted when you cheer about that moment. You know, it's just, that's the beginning of it all. This kid right here, mark my words, it's going to be unbelievable.
You got 19 or 20 years playing with the Lakers.
Yeah, 19 or 20 at least.
We started off In It to Win It series with, of course, one of the greatest champions to ever live. Now, if you talk to Kobe, he would tell you, I didn't have the hops of Vince Carter. I didn't have the speed of Iverson. I didn't have the size of some of the other two guards in the league. I didn't have the length of Tracy McGrady. It appeared that Kobe Bryant was gifted with every gift known to man, but from his perspective, he wasn't. So that forced him to work harder than Allen Iverson. That forced him to work harder than Tracy McGrady. That forced him to work harder than Vince Carter. See, the Bible gives us each with gifts and talents. It says every man is given talent and gifts according to his ability. But God never put a cap on what you can do with the gifts and talents that he has blessed you with. You might start with one talent, but you can multiply that thing. You might start with 2 talents, but you can expand that thing. See, In It to Win It was about overcoming all obstacles and opponents. In It to Win It was about dunking on opponents like fear. In It to Win It was about dunking on anxiety and depression. In It to Win It was about dunking on alcoholism and addiction to other foreign substances that shouldn't be in our body. In It to Win It was about accomplishing what God told you would accomplish. In It to Win It dunked on laziness. In It to Win It dunked on disbelief. In It to Win It dunked on suicide. In It to Win It was about dominating. And that's why we started the whole sermon series off with the late but great Kobe Bryant. And that was the very first video we showed for the In It to Win It series. We were at the soccer game yesterday. Brooklyn's team won 6-0. Brooklyn's second goal was like something from a professional would do. She dribbled all the way down, made a move, and scored. Beautiful. It was beautiful. But that team that I coached, they lost their first 2 games. And now they've won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
They won 4 in a row. It doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish, BCC. The first 40 years, you might have been like, I lost those 40 years, but you got 40 more to come, BCC. Don't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. And this is a Christian league that we're in, and at halftime, the pastor comes on the mic, and he says, he preaches a little short sermon. And I said, guys, listen up, this is how church sounds. And they're like, wait, he doesn't use videos and analogies? I know, that's the Ravcast specialty, to put up a Kobe Bryant video. This is how church sounds. And when we think about In It to Win It, the very first story I told about Kobe Bryant was with him and his daughter, who was a star at a young age. And we were waiting for her to get to the WNBA because she was going to take that thing by storm. This girl was amazing. And she went to a tournament to play, and her team ended up finishing 3rd. And everybody came to see Gianna Bryant play, and they finished 3rd, and she felt so embarrassed. And she took that 3rd place trophy, and she took it home with tears in her eyes, and she threw that thing in the trash. And Kobe came running, and he took that trophy out of the trash. And she said, Dad, what are you doing? We're not about third place. You Kobe Bryant, you got rings, and I came up short. And he said, no. Take that third place trophy, put it on your nightstand. See, Gianna, in life you can cry about it, or you can be about it. Ooh, see, some people, you can cry about the loss and let the tears of that pain become your identity. So everybody knows that you're one that cried. Everybody knows that you hurt. Everybody knows that you've broken down. Everybody knows that you've been through so much because you've let the tears become your identity. You can cry about it, or you can be about it. And this was a graphic that we created, my 8-year-old son created this graphic for me, that we can cry about it or be about it. And you see, Kobe was talking from experience, because an 18-year-old Kobe Bryant, his first time in the playoffs against the Utah Jazz on the road, he shot several air balls trying to win the game, but several air balls to lose the game. And they lost that game because Kobe Bryant couldn't stop shooting air balls. All you have to do is Google Kobe Bryant air ball game and everything comes up, because this was epic at the time. How you gonna shoot that many air balls over and over again and lose the game? And he said that was a point in my life where I was either gonna cry about it or I was gonna be about it. And he said on the flight home from Utah, I had to think about that. I'm gonna cry about it and be embarrassed, or am I gonna be about it? And he said I got home to LA, I went to the gym that night. And I shot hoops until the morning. And I said, this feels good. And I did it the next day. I went to the gym and I shot hoops all day long until the morning. And I did that all summer long. And I got into the league year 2, and I said, gotcha. I figured out what it takes to run this league. I figured out what it takes to dominate this league. I figured out what it takes to be the very best in this league. He developed a work ethic that stemmed from the pain. See, some people are defeated by their pain, but really your pain is connected to your purpose. So many believers say, what's my purpose? I don't know what I'm supposed to do for God. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What am I supposed to do? I'm coming up to pray. What am I supposed to do? But nobody ever looks at their pain, because your pain is connected directly with your purpose. God takes your purpose and he entangles it in with your pain, and they can't escape each other. You can cry about it in life, or you can be about it in life. The women with the issue of blood, God gave me this analogy. 12 years she suffered. Some of y'all have suffered for less than 12 years. Some of y'all have suffered for more than 12 years with your issue. 12 years a woman suffered with bleeding. She spent every last dollar she could trying to get help. She visited every doctor. She did everything possible to get help. She was on her way out. She wanted to quit, but she didn't give up. And she met Jesus, and she grabbed the hem of his garment, and she was made whole. 12 years of suffering was her pain. Her purpose was to record an event that would be, her purpose was to have the disciples record an event that would be put in the Bible, that would be talked about for thousands of years. 12 years of pain versus legendary status in the Bible. 12 years of pain versus helping millions of believers see who Jesus is. That Jesus doesn't reject those that are broken. Jesus doesn't reject those that are bleeding. Jesus doesn't reject those that the world has rejected, that the world has outcasted. Instead, he's made available to them. Instead, he has mercy for them. Instead, he has grace for them. Instead, he has healing for them. 12 years of pain that was intertwined with her ultimate purpose, which was to touch the hem of his garment, so that the disciples can record this and all mankind can hear about the story. See, that's the purpose. But if she had stayed home rejected, because I've been bleeding for 12 years, and I've been praying for 12 years, and I've been doing this for 12 years, and I've been asking God for deliverance for 12 years, and I'm done. If she's defeated by the pain, she never has a date with her purpose. We talked last week, the woman who came and she poured oil on his head. And the Bible says she used her tears to wash his feet. And his feet were so wet, she had to use her hair to dry his feet. Think of the amount of pain you have to be to produce enough moisture to wash somebody up. Some of you guys have never cried that much. So much tears coming out of you, hurt so bad that all you can do is cry and cry and cry and cry and cry, and you produce enough moisture to wash this man's feet. When she leaves, he says, from this day forward, wherever the gospel is preached, her story will be told. Cry about it or be about it. She could have cried at home and said, my issues are too big for him. She could have cried at home and said, I'm tired of this mess. She could have cried at home and said, I'm giving up. There's no hope for me. But she chose to be about it. And she realized that pain was a directly entwined with her purpose. And her purpose was to have her story preached wherever the gospel was spoken. Big pain, big purpose. God's not allowing you to go through so much because it's going to have a little result. Big time pain, big time addiction, big time testimony, big time walls being broken down, not only in your life, but in other people's life. Cry about it or be about it. I look at my wife, Reverend Lindsay, who had a chance to cry about it or be about it. And I told this story when we did this message. That one woman got a call that her son has a very rare syndrome. And she had an opportunity to cry about it or be about it. And one woman with one child wrote one email to the councilman and got everything changed for a whole city of La Plata. Where she made Angelman syndrome a proclamation. What did it become? A proclamation that it will be acknowledged on that day going forward. The more people that know about Angelman syndrome, the more money comes for research. Nobody's ever heard of it. How do we know to even invest in it? One woman decided to not cry about it, but be about it. And then when you talk to her, she's talking about things like, when we build the church, we're going to have a wing that's dedicated to special needs children. And we're going to do things where we exchange equipment, and because equipment, which most people don't know, might cost $10,000 for a stroller that they need. So we're going to do things like that as a church. 5 years ago, you asked her, what's your purpose? That would not have been in it. How could it have been? But God used that pain to show you what your purpose is actually going to be on this earth. Only if you make a decision to be about it and stop crying about it. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop complaining about your childhood. You're 50 years old. Cry about it or finally say, I'm going to be about it. I'm not going to be hindered by this no more. I'm going to look at this pain and I'm going to say, God, what are you going to have me to do with this? Because obviously it's not going nowhere. Crying about it keeps you stuck. The children of Israel were delivered from Egypt. And what did they do? They cried about it. They cried about it in the wilderness, and they were stuck in the wilderness. Some were crying about it, and they've been stuck for 20 years. Finally, it's time to start being about it. Let's end this with one more picture. And I couldn't end this message without paying tribute to the late Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. This is a mural made in LA. I thought it was beautiful. And some may say, why would you put this in a sermon? Because Kobe was a young man. His daughter was even younger. Life is but a vapor. Some people need to stop talking about what they won't do and do it today. Because you don't know how much time you got on this earth. I need to call my mama and apologize. Call her today. I need to repair this relationship. Repair it today. I need to ask God for forgiveness because what I did, you need to ask for ask today. You've been coming to church for so long and I was baptized as a child, but I don't really know that I accept God in my heart. Get salvation today. No No man knows the day or hour. If you would ask them how much time they would have said, I got eternity left on this earth. Somebody got to be in it to win it today. And that was week 1. A snippet of week 1. These are on YouTube, y'all. Don't say, I want more. Go to YouTube to get more. All right, so we got to move on. All right. A couple weeks later, we did another In It to Win It sermon series, and we started it with this video.
I'm not here campaigning for the best player in the world or in history. I'm not saying that. Because everybody plays differently in different eras.
So all they talk about the Chicago Bulls is about Michael Jordan, the outstanding rookie from North Carolina.
Coming on this level is a brand new start for me, and I have to start from the bottom and work my way up. So, I think the hard work is ahead of me, and I'm willing to take on that challenge and go out and play the best I can.
Started with Mike. The greatest man ever do it. Right? Because to be great, you must study greatness. To be legendary is wise to know what legendary people do. Don't just read about Moses. Don't just read about Abraham. Don't just read about King David. Don't just read about Jesus, but read about these great men so that you also may become legendary. So that you may leave your mark on this earth. So that when it is time for your day of rest, time for your funeral, you've left a mark that nobody can deny. You've accomplished things that nobody saw you accomplishing. You did things that nobody in your family did. In it to win it is about becoming legendary. The title of the message that we did was called The Highlights. Because everybody remembers Michael Jordan like this. Boom! Bam! Wow! Woo! Have some! That's for you! What you want, Pistons? See, everybody remembers this part about Michael Jordan. They remember the highlights. But nobody remembers that MJ missed over 9,000 shots. Nobody remembers that MJ, who looks like he never lost a game, MJ lost over 300 games. Nobody remembers how many times he missed the game-winning shot. They only remember that joint against Utah when he gave Russell that tap and hit it. Jordan missed over 26 game-winning shots. But yet, folks only remember the highlights. The highlights. The highlights. You can go ahead and cut it, my brother. I know it's a good video. He's like, let it breathe, man. Let it breathe. Nah, you hit it on YouTube and breathe the whole way. He missed 26 game-winning shots. And when we did this message called The Highlights, we brought up some children that week. You guys remember that? And we talked about the parable of the talents. Parable of the talents. So not an actual story that happened, but a parable so that you can look at what happened and apply it to your regular day life. It's an example. To one he gave 5 talents. To another he gave 2. To a third he gave 1. The one who had 5 talents dumped all over his opponents, multiplied his talents, and had 10. The one who gave 2 said, you're not going to outdo me, doubled his talents and had 4. But the one who had 1 was afraid. I got talent, but I don't know how they're going to receive me. I got talent, but I ain't ready for all that sacrifice. I got talent, but I ain't ready for all that commitment. I got talent, but I ain't about that life right now. So they chose to bury their talent and do nothing with it. Not realizing that what they had is great. See, they look at it like, I only got 1 talent. He got 5, man, whatever. When they wrote this parable, one talent represented about 20 years worth of wages for an average man. So the one that got 1 still got enough for 20 years worth of work. Everybody that's saying, I don't got what somebody else has, he said, I gave you way more than everybody. I gave you so much. If you would just see it with your eyes. All you have is a testimony. That testimony can go in a book. That testimony can be told in churches all across the world. That testimony will change so many lives. And you say, all I got is a story. That's all you need. To one he gave 5, to one he gave 2, to one he gave 1. 5 double his, 2 double his, 1 hit his in the ground. He next came. He didn't come to 5 and say, 5, tell me about your journey. Tell me how you failed. Oh, no, 5. Remember you failed? Remember you did this? Remember you did that? Remember you did this? 5? 2, remember you did all this messed up stuff? No. He came back and he said, show me the goods. Show me what you did with the talents. Show me your highlight reel. I know all y'all are sinners. I'm not worried about y'all. All of y'all are sinners. I'm worried about the highlights. I can go to sin from here to kingdom come. But I'm worried about the highlights. And he settled accounts with them. He wanted to know their highlight reel, how much they made. He didn't question their faults. Let me show you this in Scripture. This is one of those prove it Rev moments. I can feel it in the crowd. Matthew chapter 25, verse 31 through 40. This is Jesus who created the heavens and the earth, who's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, who's seen the beginning, who sees the end, telling folks what the end is going to look like. Oh, powerful stuff. And this is what he said. Verse number 31. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be there gathered before him. And he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then, verse number 34, the king will say to those on his right, you want to be on the right. You don't want it. You want to be with the bad. You want to be with the sheep. You don't want to be over here like, man. All right? Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. And then you got some old heads, and they make jokes on earth, and they making jokes up here, and they don't really understand. And they say, nah, I was born in 1947, and I ain't never seen no face of God and fed him and gave him something to drink. That's what the righteous up there saying. No, I see Jesus. That don't make no sense. I was born in 2020. I was born in 1983. I ain't seen no Jesus. That's crazy. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you? That's crazy. When did we see you hungry and feed you? Or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in? Or needing clothes and clothe you? I ain't never get Jesus no clothes. When did we see you sick or in prison? Jesus was in prison. Hold up. It's confusion. Verse number 40. The king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. All right, let's break this up. The righteous are over here chilling. You over here chilling. Believe that you're righteous. Believe that you believe in Jesus Christ. That's what qualifies you to be the righteous. That I believe and I accepted Christ. So when you up here and you see Desmond, don't be like, oh man, I'm over here with Desmond. Oh no, you're righteous. You good. People gonna get in that you don't think should be getting in, and people who look like they should be getting in were wolves in sheep's clothing, and they over here with the goats. So take it easy, my people. He brought up, he has the righteous on one side. He didn't say, remember what you did when you was 24? He didn't bring up anybody's past. We just read the end of the world. He didn't say, remember what you did when you was 19? Remember what you did when you was 24? 24 was a rough year for y'all. Remember what you did when you was 17? Remember what you did when you was 37? That ain't in the text. He's not bringing up anybody's past, holding them to the past sins that they did. Look, people, either Jesus died for your sins or he didn't. Either the grace of God is sufficient for you or it's not. So if the grace of God is all powerful If Jesus really did die for my sins, why would I be up here getting chastised for my sins? Instead, he's bringing up their highlights. Oh, he's bringing up their highlights. You gave to the needy. You fed the hungry. You clothed the naked. See, when Miss Dee brought in all those coats for the coat drive, what do you think we doing this stuff for? Because we closing, we doing the work of God. When we struggling bringing in canned goods, what are we doing it for? Because we got to do this. We got to build our resume. He brought up their highlights. He didn't talk about their faults. So everybody's stuck in the past because of what I did. And God can't use me. And he don't know what I've been through. And he don't know what I said. He don't know how I acted. And God can't use me. God said, can you just make some highlights? All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. I'm looking for you to just close the neck, and I'm looking for you to just give. I'm looking for you to become a giver, because the goats are over here selfish as a mug. It's all about them. It's all about their needs, the size of their house, the size of their car. They got caught up into a system of the world that made it all about self-care. Put my feet up. I need to be on my 15th vacation. It's all about me. I need to make more because it's all about me. You got caught up into the system of the world where he's looking at what did you give away. Now, what did you acquire on earth? He doesn't care what you acquired on earth. He said, what did you give away? That's what went down. All right, quick note before we move. The prosperity message that a lot of people are against. The righteous have to obtain things to be able to give away. We all can't be in here naked. Right? We all can't be poor. We all can't live, and we don't all have food. Somebody's got to obtain it so that we can give it away. Okay? That's why you have to teach on giving and being prosperous and being abundant, because you're required to obtain so you can give away. But you're not required to obtain for yourself. That's where prosperity misses it. They teach that you got to obtain, but they teach you to obtain for yourself. You got to obtain only so that you have the means to give away. Amen? 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 All right, as we get ready to push on to conclusion, I'm only giving y'all 3 of the messages that we taught. We did a bunch of them. But I can't go over like 14 messages today. We'll be here till 6 p.m. All right? So the last one that I'm going to go over today, you guys remember this rather iconic graphic. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Woo! Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. A little bit of the history behind this. All these cats, they had plans for Mike. See, they would study him. See, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all up into Mike's grill. I'm going to bum rush him. Because everybody else is afraid of Mike. So he expected me to be afraid, but I'm going to be all up in his grill. Get Mike. That's what I'm going to do. Another one would say, if you study Mike, he got a 1-2 uppercut. Stay away from that boom, boom. Stay away from that double uppercut. So I'm going to be to his left. See, I'm going to have my footwork the whole time, and I'm away from that uppercut. And then when he's not expecting it, overhand left, boom. I got a plan for Mike. Others said, I'm going to just dance the whole time. See, I ain't going nowhere now. I'm just going to dance because I can run all day long. And that big joker's going to get tired. And then I'm going to beat him. And he said, Mike, what do you feel about this? Because everybody got a plan against how to beat you. And he looked up and said, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And he was right every single time. Because when a man gets punched in his mouth, all of a sudden, doubt kicks in. All of a sudden, disbelief kicks in. All of a sudden, fear kicks in. All of a sudden, you allow your emotions to kick in, and you forget everything that you studied in the Word of God, and you forget every single Sunday sermon because you got punched in the mouth, and you allow your emotions to consume you. You see, my brother Brian, he was once trying to be a boxer. I ain't gonna really mess with you, Brian. But you see, anybody who wants to be a boxer, let's use somebody who's never fought before. Junior, let's say Junior, because that's my TSM guy today. Junior can get up every day and run 10 miles. Junior can lift weights every day. Junior can study with Floyd Mayweather starting tomorrow. Junior can do all of that to become a boxer. Junior can get the best shorts, the best shoes, the best gloves. Junior can look like the man. Junior can do all that to become a boxer, but he won't really know if he is a boxer until he gets in the ring with another grown man that's been lifting weights for 10 years getting ready for this moment. That's also been training like his life depends on it because he has kids at home that need to eat, and this is everything that he has, so he's giving his all to that. And his footwork is nice, and he got a strong right hand. So Junior may believe that he's a boxer, but he doesn't really know he's a boxer until he gets hit in that ring, and we see if his chin is a boxer's chin or is it not a boxer's chin. Until he gets hit in his mouth, and then we see what he really about. We see, is he about that life, or is he just a pretender? We see, does he just come to church, or does he really believe in the things that are preached to him? We see, does he have fight, or does he just come and act like he got it all together? We see all of it when it's time to get hit in the mouth. It separates the pretenders from the contenders, the real from the fake, the sheep from the goats, the righteous from the I just appear righteous. He uses the punch in your mouth so you know who you are. You know if you about that life, or you know if I'm just saying that I'm just pretending. I just like to come to church because I like to I like to just check off that box. But I'm not really about that life. Matthew 7:24-27. Jesus speaking, therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine, hear the word of God, folks. Hear the word of God today. And puts them into practice. Don't just hear it and then go to brunch and never think about any of this again. Put it into practice. It's like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down. The house got punched in his mouth. The streams rose and the winds blew. And do you see that word beat? That's why I knew I was on it. And beat against that house. Yet it did not fall because its foundation was on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them in practice, because I'm waiting until I get married, or I'm waiting until I get kids, or I'm waiting until my finances turn around so I can give. I'm waiting. I'm never putting them into practice. It's like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came down. The streams rose and the winds blew, and he got hit in his mouth too. But he fell with a great crash. See, God uses the storms of the world to separate the pretenders from the contenders, to separate the sheep from the goat, to separate the real from the fake. The storms are for your advantage. They're not to harm you. They're so that you can stand and say, I took that and I'm still here. I got a call about my son having a Rett syndrome and I still preach the next Sunday. I got fired from my dream job at the age of 22 with the U.S. Secret Service on a Wednesday, and I still taught Bible study. Everybody has a plan because I thought I was going to be in that job for the next 20, 40, 50 years of my life. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And now do you actually believe in the word of God? Or you just pretending? Or you just coming to church for no reason? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. To conclude, come on, CJ. James chapter 1, verse 2 and 3 from the English Standard Version. We started today talking about joy. The joy of the Lord being your strength. And now look at this. Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. Count it all joy every single time you get punched in your mouth. Every single time you lose your job. Every single time you get a diagnosis that ain't what you wanted it to say. Every single time you face a trial, count it all joy. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. Say it with me. Steadfastness. Say it like we at church on Sunday. Steadfastness. Steadfastness. So I'm not crying about every little thing that comes my way. I'm standing strong in the faith. See, I want to run with some people that got some steadfastness to them. That they get hit by the storms of life. They can get hit by diagnoses. They can get hit with the loss of their job. They can get hit with seeing their wife about to die having babies. But yet they stand. And they don't move and they aren't falling away and their house isn't crumbling. You see, you look at all of these situations that happen in your life. You look at your wife almost dying. You look at your father almost dying. You look at your baby getting diagnosed. You look at all of these things. You look at the loss of a job. You look at me beating alcohol. You look at all of these things. And you say, if I can stand through all of that, what can he throw my way that I can't beat? That's right. So now I look back and I learned going forward to count it all joy. To count it all joy when these things happen to me. To say, it's all right, that just means I'm going to have a testimony. It's all right, that just means my son going to be healed and he going to preach all over the world. That's all right, God got a better job for me. God got a better job for me. I lost that job. I preached Bible study. About a couple months later, I met my wife. My pain was connected to my destiny. My pain wasn't meant to destroy me. My pain was just intertwined with my destiny. And we can cry about it or we can be about it, man. We can cry about it or we can cry about it or we can cry about it or we can be about it. We can cry about it or we can be about it. We can get punched in the mouth and fall over and leave the gospel all together and drink ourselves into oblivion and smoke ourselves into oblivion, or we can stand fast and count it all joy. See, this is what In It to Win It was all about. This is the championship mentality that I want the church to stand on. This is what In It to Win It can do if you let the word sit in your heart and produce fruit. As we stand to our feet, can we say, I'm in it?
I'm in it.
To win it.
To win it.
I'm in it.
I'm in it.
To win it. And that is In It to Win It in review.